Hi, Melissa. Good evening, I guess.
Hi. Hi, Lyndon.
Hi, Christy
Yes,
as
good
well.
evening.
Hi,
Hey,
Melissa.
Christy.
Hi, Andan.
You can see me playing around with my virtual backgrounds, trying to see which one looks the not so weird.
Yeah, I think we do need a few more Elsevier virtual themes for background.
It's just not a great look, just generally, I think. I don't love it.
I think this is fine. I mean, your
Yeah,
real
my room is
background,
fine. It's
right?
fine. Yeah. Just gonna turn this off for just a second. There we go. That's not too bad.
Did we just play a kind of a game? Like what has changed?
I know. I was moving some things off the couch behind me that were cluttered.
Yeah, because interestingly, we had the Elevate training. So I guess one of the sessions was about trying to figure out what has changed. Like,
Oh,
you know,
really?
you tag the partner, and it's part of the observation skills, I guess. Yeah.
Attention to detail.
Yep. So I'm going to be away from keyboard just for a little bit. I'll be back. Yeah.
Hi, morning, Lyndon. Morning, History. Morning, Michelle. Morning, Melissa.
Hi, Erwan. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to all participants. We are still waiting around 17 minutes before we start our session. So in the meantime, maybe you can also enjoy your breakfast before while we are waiting for other participants to join us. Thank you.
Good morning. How are you, Dr. Diana? Sorry, Ms. Diana.
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you all right.
Yes, good.
I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the team. So Johan is going to be our host for today. He is our customer, he's our CC for Indonesia and for Philippines. We
Okay.
also have Melissa. I'm sure you've met Melissa before. So Melissa is going to be the speaker after you.
Okay, sure.
And
Johan,
then,
hi.
Hello, Ms.
Hi,
Diana.
nice to meet you.
Nice
Yes,
to meet you too.
yes.
Johan, would you like to just take Diana through the presentation?
Okay. Yes.
Very quickly.
So yeah, we will open the session. We already have participants also joining us. So welcome to our very early participants. Thank you for joining us. We will open, there will be opening remarks, Ms. Diana, and then after that, I will introduce you and Melissa as well. Hello, Melissa. Good morning. And then
Hi, Melissa. Yeah, yes.
hello. And then after that, after I introduce you, that it will be your session first, and then after that, it will be Melissa's session, and then we will have our questions and answers.
Okay, so the question and answer will be left to the end, which is, let's see, what time?
That will be around,
Approximately around 10:30 Singapore time.
Yeah.
10:30.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. So what about the, I'm going to share my PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I did minor changes in the last minute. It's always that case. Then what about at 11 o'clock? That's the group sharing and also the networking. So do I stay on or do I, what do I do?
So if you would like to join, I have put you in the other session. So there's a link we will share to go to the other session. So if you would like to interact with the participants, then feel free to stay back. If you have something else planned, then we'll thank you already for doing this for us.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Great.
Guys, I put a note in the chat for you, Diana. My comments are going to be probably just a little over 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, so not the full 20. So if we need more time, Diana, if you need it or if you want it for the Q&A, we should have plenty for buffer. Okay, great. Thanks, Melissa. My presentation probably is around 30 minutes. So yeah, so we're good. We're good.
No worries.
Perfect.
Perfect, yes. So there are supposed to be like 300 registrants so far?
Yes, we have around 380 registrants. So
okay,
let's keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, great, yeah. So do the participants send in questions while we are talking, or
yes,
is it already collected?
So we do have some questions which have already come in, and then we usually do a live Q&A. So we get a lot of questions in the Q&A box as well as the chat box. So we have a team, the rest of the team here on the call will be helping to compile the themes that come up. And then Johan would be asking the questions to you as well as Melissa.
Okay, great.
And again, to our morning participants, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, we are still waiting for more participants to join. We will start in around 10 minutes. Yep, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Diana, and thanks for joining us. We're very excited.
Hi, is this Thomas?
Lyndon, yes. Yeah.
Lyndon. Okay.
It's
yeah.
one of those
Nice
things,
meeting
right?
you. Yes.
Yeah, middle name is almost never used. Yeah.
I saw that that's a very long name, Lyndon Thomas.
Yeah, nice to meet you finally. And also, I just love the background. Is that the Repulse Bay?
Yeah. Our
Beautiful.
campus, the Repulse Bay. Yes, we have a beautiful weather today as well. Actually, Singapore is the place that I always love to visit.
Really?
But we're talking about this travel bubble for a long time, and it never get materialized.
I think it's never going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, because my son lives in Singapore, so I always want to go to visit him. So it's like 2 years that we haven't met each other. Yeah.
Right. Well, the situation in Singapore is not exactly very rosy now. So I think we all just have to wait a little longer.
Yeah. Well, because you choose to coexist with the virus. So that's why.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
For us, Hong Kong is doing good. Yeah, Hong Kong is doing good. We don't have local cases for, I don't know, 2 months already. Yeah.
Well, that's really brilliant to hear. I mean,
yeah.
We hope to reach that stage sometime soon.
So we have participants from all the Southeast Asian countries, I suppose.
Yes, so we have participants from all Southeast Asian countries, and we also have quite a few participants from your university.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, a lot of people have registered. So I think we have around 16 or 17 participants from Hong Kong University.
Okay, all right, yeah. Because when you send me the banner and all those, I sent it to my colleagues as well. And I said, well, they know what I'm talking about because that's a collaborative effort from all my staff. But anyway, if I put them together into this package, maybe they love to hear as well too.
Yes, I think that'll be nice. And also I think it'll be very good for them to interact during the networking session because they'll get to hear what the Southeast Asian librarians have to say. So it'll be a good exercise for both.
Yeah, actually, we are all doing the similar things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think while waiting, we can play some videos. Yeah, for participants as well. Enjoy, everyone.
As a researcher, you want to discover, build knowledge, and move research forward. But there are things that stand in your way. You need real-time access to the latest, most relevant content. But how do you find the right information? Who do you trust? 25 million researchers a month count on Science Direct to deliver the highest quality, full-text scientific, technical, and health publications. Whether browsing generally or performing a focused search, our intuitive machine learning and data mining technology sifts through millions of journals and reference books to help you connect the dots and make decisions based on reliable, interdisciplinary research, saving researchers an average of over 47 minutes per day. How? With peer-reviewed research at your fingertips, including open access content, so you can achieve more breakthroughs. With alerts and personalized recommendations based on your signed-in activity, so you can uncover new research in less time. And with optimized HTML and PDF reading experiences, so you can discover, evaluate, and share content more effectively. Need to explore a novel research area? Use Science Direct topics to get up to speed. Want to make annotations or discuss your findings? Export articles using compatible tools like Mendeley. Outside your institution's IP range? Get everything you need with remote access. With Science Direct, you'll have more time to gather evidence, uncover new research, innovate in your field, and disseminate your work to a wider audience. Move your research forward and unlock the power of Science Direct, your platform for peer-reviewed scholarly literature. As a researcher, you want to discover, build knowledge, and move research forward. But there are things that stand in your way. You need real-time access to the latest, most relevant content. But how do you find the right information? Who do you trust? 25 million researchers a month count on Science Direct to deliver the highest quality, full-text, scientific, technical, and health publications. Whether browsing generally or performing a focused search, our intuitive machine learning and data mining technology sifts through millions of journals and reference books to help you connect the dots and make decisions based on reliable, interdisciplinary research, saving researchers an average of over 47 minutes per day. How? With peer-reviewed research at your fingertips, including open access content, so you can achieve more breakthroughs. With alerts and personalized recommendations based on your signed-in activity, so you can uncover new research in less time. And with optimized HTML and PDF reading experiences, so you can discover, evaluate, and share content more effectively. Need to explore a novel research area? Use Science Direct topics to get up to speed. Want to make annotations or discuss your findings? Export articles using compatible tools like Mendeley. Outside your institution's IP range? Get everything you need with remote access. With Science Direct, you'll have more time to gather evidence, uncover new research, innovate in your field, and disseminate your work to a wider audience. Move your research forward and unlock the power of Science Direct, your platform for peer-reviewed scholarly literature.
Okay, good morning, Southeast Asia. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. This is a very special session, making a difference, the changing face of libraries during the pandemic. My name is Johan Zhang, and I'm customer consultant for Elsevier Southeast Asia. And I will be your host and also your moderator for this session. So again, thank you so much to so many participants that already joined us, so many librarians from across Southeast Asia. Before we start, let me read a couple of announcements to ensure we can run this session smoothly. So first and foremost, this session is using Zoom webinar, which means that you cannot open your audio or video, but no worries, because later on we will have a networking session, and this is going to be very interesting. We will network with each other, and we will also have open discussion after the speaker session. I will provide you more information about this networking session a bit after this. And then information on slides, recording, and also e-certificates will be provided at the end of the session. So no worries. If you miss something, there will be slides, recording, and also e-certificates provided to you. Okay, so let's begin our session. This is the agenda. For our session, we will have opening remark, and then I will introduce our distinguished speakers, and we will have group networking and also discussion, also closing and announcement. So without further ado, let's start with opening remark by our regional head for Science Direct eBooks, Mr. Lyndon Tan.
Thank you, Johan, and Good morning to everyone. I hope you can hear and see me virtually at least. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a real pleasure to see so many of you taking time off in the morning to join this session. We kind of live in a world where there's a lot of Zoom fatigue, right? And I'm hoping that this session will not be one of them. It's going to be something that we all can learn from and, you know, obviously gain in experience, right? So we've got an exciting lineup of speakers as well as a networking session. Actually, to be honest, in the past, when we used to do these ebook forums in a physical location, there was always constraint in terms of how many people we could invite, right? Simply because Elsevier, we are a modest company. So, but right now we're virtual, you know, we could open up to so many people and around the region. And that is always important because, you know, making a difference is not just about one individual, right? It's about a group of like-minded individuals that come together, whether you're librarians, whether you are on the publishing side, whether you are a researcher, we all have a responsibility, especially in this age of uncertainty. I mean, I can't sort of emphasize the word uncertain more than ever before, right? I mean, we've always been saying times are uncertain, right? But times are really uncertain right now with COVID. And it's our responsibility to ensure, you know, free and open exchange of ideas, right? Of scientific data and information, you know, so that, you know, we enable each and every one of us to help, you know, overcome this struggle that we have. And with the obviously with the end goal of being able to meet our friends and families all over the world again. So I'm really hoping that by next year, at this point in time, we would be able to invite you to a physical location, probably shake your hands, and, you know, let's start becoming normal again. Yeah. So with that, I wish you a very fruitful session, and I will hand over to Johan to continue this forum.
Okay.
Johan, please.
Thank you so much, Lyndon. And we will now proceed to our next session, and this is going to be a sharing. Before that, let me introduce our distinguished speaker for this morning. Let me share my screen again. So for our first session, we have Ms. Diana Chan, Director of Library Service, Chair of JULAC Consortia Committee and Hong Kong Monographic Acquisitions Committee at University of Science and Technology, Hong Kong. Having received her BBA at the Chinese University of Hong Kong and MLS from San Jose State University, she started as an information specialist in Bain & Company in USA. Her academic library career began with building the David Lam Management Research Library at the University of British Columbia, Canada. After returning to Hong Kong, Diana joined the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology Library in various public services positions until she became the Director of Library Services in 2012. She's active in professional development. She having published over 20 journal papers and book chapters and a book, she also presented around 60 conference papers on various library topics. Her research areas cover strategic management, staff development, space development, learning commons, institutional repository, consortia collection development, research support services, open access, and so many others. She has served as the chairs of JULAC in 2015 and 16. So without further ado, let us welcome Ms. Diana Chan.
Hello. Thank you very much, Johan, for giving this introduction. It's really a great pleasure for me to meet up with all of my fellow librarians in Southeast Asia virtually. Greetings from Hong Kong. I guess by now, everyone is pretty comfortable and familiar with online meeting and Zoom meeting and online conference. So I hope you will stay all the way to the end. Okay, so first of all, let me share my screen. Okay, here you go. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Okay, now, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Elsevier for inviting me to this ebook forum. It's really my pleasure to be able to share the experience that our library has done during this pandemic. I'm going to share our face-changing experience with you all, and I believe that every one of us has done something similar. Okay. Now, according to the Worldometer, there are 235 million COVID cases and 4.8 million deaths from COVID up to October 4th, which is just 2 days ago. And then we saw that there are 3 spikes during this pandemic time. So in December last year, April this year, and also August this year. Now, coronavirus, COVID-19 has become a household name by now. So everybody is talking about this these days. Okay, last year when our library has a staff retreat, we normally do it face-to-face. But this year, last year, we have to do it virtually. So I presented this slide to my colleagues and document on what has happened in the last academic year. We closed 86 days more than usual. We cut down our opening hours from 82 hours per week, from 98 hours per week to 82 hours per week. And we canceled our 724 facility, our Learning Commons. Many of our staff have to work from home for many weeks. And all the library classes, meetings, and library events like talks have to be moved from face-to-face to Zoom, okay? And there's a big sign on the library door saying, no face mask, no entry. Now, year 2020 to 2021 has been very disruptive and unsettling. And even the year of 2021 has been like that as well too. So the whole world has been turned upside down. So this is not only happening to Hong Kong, not only happening to Southeast Asia, but to the whole world, right? Yes, the pandemic forces libraries to close down, actually to close its door, okay? And close many businesses to close down, and force us to change face. But on the other hand, it speeds up digital transformation, accelerates innovation in many services, facilitates co-creation with our partners. Now, some of the initiatives that we have instituted during this time are here to stay because they save time, they save effort, they are cheaper, they are easier. And just take today's conference as an example. If we have to invite all the people to come to Singapore for this ebook conference, imagine the budget, the effort, the time involved in this conference, right? But an online conference, online meeting, a lot of times attract more virtual participants than face-to-face. Now, when I was given this topic about face changing of library, immediately I think of Bianian in Chinese term, Bianian, okay, face changing. Now, Bianian is a ancient Chinese art in which a performer wear many masks okay, one on top of the other. So the performers change phase almost instantaneously with the swipe of a fan or a wave of his hand. And it happens so fast that you thought the person standing in front of you is somebody else, okay? You meet another person. Now, in the pandemic, we find out that many libraries change their face in a similar way. So how did libraries change face? What special services that we have provided during this time? According to the literature review, someone has done a literature review on several thousand of articles. And at the end, they focus on 23 articles from 11 countries. That review the types of library services provided in the COVID time. So for example, like this one, the academic libraries are providing and expanding access to e-resources. So there are almost like 70% of libraries are doing it. And they are increasing open access resources and services, 47%, assisting in virtual education and teaching, 56%, and some medical and public libraries, they are making the public health safety awareness through the health literacy, 52%. So these are various kind of services and activities that libraries have been doing during the pandemic. E-resources, OA resources, virtual education, and health literacy. Okay, now in the following, I am going to share with you what we at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology have done, and together with some of the examples from Hong Kong and around the world. Now, first of all, let me introduce our university to you. HKUST for short. This is our campus, okay? We're situated on a mountain overlooking the ocean. It's beautiful. This is the campus. We were established in 1991. So this year we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. And this is the library, the outside, the inside, and this is the nighttime view. Okay, our university does not have a large student population. We only have about 16,000 students, almost 700 faculty members, and we're doing quite well in our ranking from QS, from the Times Higher Education, in terms of the young universities, employability, and also top universities in the world. So we're doing okay, we're doing quite well, right? Now, because of time, I like to focus on the 4 areas on how libraries have changed face during the pandemic. Now, our space, collection, services, and connection. I like to pay tribute to all my staff because this is not the effort of one person, not from me, but from my facility team, from my collection development team, from our instruction team, research support team, from everybody, from our resource management team. Everybody is chipping in efforts to make this happen. Okay, now first of all, in terms of space, we know that before the pandemic, our users come here to study, do research, and treat it as a third place for community gathering, for socializing. But even during the pandemic, some users chose to come back to the library for focused and quiet study. Our biggest challenge is how to secure a hygienic, safe, and virus-free study space. Right? This is our biggest challenge. Now, I believe that this is the measures that everybody is doing during the pandemic, securing hygienic protection to our space. So we have deep cleaning, disinfecting, building up barrier for social distancing, reducing seats in the library, and also putting up lots of signs for our users. So I believe that these are some of the measures that you and I have done, and perhaps you have done more creative way than this. Now, on top of that, our library has also applied the university invented antimicrobial spray called Gemagic. Now it kills 99.9% of virus, including COVID, and it is effective for 3 months. So you see the workers are coming to the library, spraying on all the library furniture, and then they repeat it every 3 months. Now this is the university's invention. Now, in addition, we have also installed the university's university invented remote smart fever self-check station. So in the beginning, we put up this smart fever self-check station by the entrance of the library. So later on, we are able to mount it on the ceiling. This is ground floor ceiling. This is our learning commons ceiling. Okay, and this is how it looks like. So the system connects to an iPad at the circulation counter. So when a patron approach the entrance gate, okay, their face will be bracketed by either a green bracket or circled by a red bracket. So if you have a fever, okay, your face will be circled by a red bracket. Now this technology, this invention, is widely used in many government facility in Hong Kong. So this is the border between Hong Kong and mainland China. All right. So this is someone with a fever. Okay, that would be like that. So when a fever face is detected, the system at the circulation counter will give us a signal. So our staff will interfere, denying access of this fever patron getting into the library. Okay, so that means the library has been like a test bed or a lab to experiment and also to try it out to apply the technology invented by the university. Of course, the library building is underutilized during this time, but we were able to make creative use of some of our facility. Like we have an iMac classroom with 40 iMac computers. And the teaching assistants from different schools use these iMac computers to invigilate online exam through Zoom, because all these computers are equipped with built-in webcam and headphone. So they use these computers to invigilate online exams. So they are, this TA is checking people's faces against their ID. All right, so each TA was assigned like 50 students so that they can monitor their online exam while the students are doing the exam at home. So they monitor them, they invigilate all this exam. Our admission office has also conducted admission online interviews using our iMac classroom. So we thought those are creative use of our library's facility during COVID. We also find that during COVID time, this is an excellent time to upgrade our facility. So like this, we have upgraded 400 study carrels during COVID. And on our rooftop, we have a cooling tower with the solar panel. And this is a very messy, noisy construction work. But we did not receive any complaint at all because basically there are very few users in the library. So we don't mind about upgrading those facilities during COVID time. It speed up the time. So we install lockers and we have installed using IoT for virtual temperature control. So this is the thermostat installed at the ceiling, and users can access the QR code thermostat to adjust the temperature. So we find facility upgrade is easier during COVID. Okay, now so far about the space. Now, what about the collection? Now, before the pandemic, we all have the print collection, the legacy collection. We all have our special collection in print format. But in the pandemic time, we rely more on our e-collection. Some of us convert your print collection into e-collection by buying the e-format or by digitization. And we have placed more orders or on-demand orders or order more DDA, PDA, right? Now during the pandemic time for our print collection, how did we make our print collection available to our users? We discovered there are many different ways of doing it. Now in our library, we have a special retrieval service. So students or users make a request on a particular book. We retrieve the book and just inform them. They come to the circulation counter to pick it up. So users do not have to go into the stack to retrieve the book. Now I noticed that other libraries have more fancy names for this kind of special retrieval service. Curbside pickup, click and collect, self-pickup lockers. Now at Education University in Hong Kong, they have installed all these self-pickup lockers. So the users place a request on a book, and then library staff will retrieve the item, place it in one of these lockers. So by the swipe of their library card, so one of these locker will open up, and then they can retrieve the book, which was put into the locker earlier for them. So these are very creative initiative. Now, what about from print copy to electronic version? Now, in the past, we do them through document delivery, okay? And then these days, I guess many libraries entertain requests for digitization. Or U of Chicago Library have a service called Scan and Deliver. So these are some of the very creative service provided by various libraries to make their print collection available to their user. Now, what about our e-collection? Our e-books, e-journals, okay? Now, first of all, we have to make up collection development policy in terms of acquiring the e-collection. Many of us adopted the digital first policy, the e-approval plan. Now, in terms of promoting your e-collection, how did our user know that you have this particular item in e-format, right? We do promotion through our Zoom meeting. We inform our users through our LMS, the learning management system, LibGuide. Of course, they are available in our catalog, right? So that student users could discover them more easily. Now, lending e-collection as well. Now, in Hong Kong, our library consortium is called JULAC. Okay, JULAC. Now, in JULAC, we have started to talk about having e-book lending, ILL, interlibrary loan between e-books, e-book chapter or e-book, the whole e-books. We are discussing it at this point. Of course, we have to comply with the licensing terms of the publisher, and some publisher allowed us to have e-book chapter, ILL, okay. We also use the CDL, controlled digital lending from Internet Archive, but we have to comply with the owned to loaned ratio. So instead of having our user come to use our print version, we make a link to the soft copy in Internet Archive, and then the user can use that soft copy. So if you have one print copy, you can only allow one user to use it at one time. Okay, so other people use this kind of CDL with HartiTrust as well. Okay, this is we do it with our course reserve in particular, course reserve. And many of us are expanding our OA, our open access. We have discussed with many publishers, including Elsevier. So these publishers allowed us to use their ebooks, their proprietary ebooks, free of charge. for a limited time. So for like from May to August last year, we have access to 100,000 additional ebooks from various publishers. So those are really a good help to our users. And thank you, Elsevier, and other publishers as well. Now, also during this time, some of the libraries make access to OER, educational, open educational resources more easily. So like in this case, Hong Kong Polytechnic University has a OER portal where they retrieve many courseware, videos, ebooks, e-journals, database by subject area. Okay, they break it down into different subject area like business, science, mathematics, and under business, they have sub-discipline as well. So they bring up all this OER for their users to use. Now, also for the last 2 years, there's a lot of things going on with the transformative agreements. And I believe some of us have already signed transformative agreements with some publisher. Now, we also know that in the beginning of the pandemic, Italy was hard hit. So a group which advocate for open access has submitted a petition to the president of Italy to request the president to come up with a national policy on open science. So all these things are happening in e-collection. So in terms of acquiring, promoting, lending, and expanding OE, this is different tactics or strategies that different libraries are doing. Now, but we know that e-collection is not built up overnight. You have to have your strategy. You have to come up with a concerted effort to make that happen. Now, let me share some of our experience from HKUST in our digital conversion. Now, up to now, our e-journals, it's 97% of our journal collection, 97%. Okay, and we find out in the past 5 years, our e-journal download has increased 42%. And for our ebooks, we also set a strategic goal in 2014 to double our ebook collection in 5 years. We were able to achieve it. And by last year, 2020, the number of ebooks in our collection overtakes print books. And also in this 5 years, the ebook download also increased 53%. So that's quite impressive, right? So all these e-resources are being used because of this digital conversion that we have purposely built. Now, how are plans formulated and executed? As I said, we change almost all print journals to e-journals and change approval plan to SciTech books from P to E. So we have the E approval plan on SciTech books. We adopted multiple DDA, EBA. We also joined several consortia to subscribe and to share ebook packages, which also save costs as well. Now, the third area that I like to share with you is on services, library services. Library provide education as well, so education and services. Now, before, all our library instruction, orientation, and tours and talks are conducted face-to-face. But now, in the pandemic, we have our classes done online, workshops done online, and many of the activities are done online. We also provide virtual services, self-services. Now, we delivered Zoom classes on information literacy, on the research skills, and to our surprise, the attendance was record-breaking in last year. We have 10,000 attendance over almost 300 sessions in one academic year last year. Remember, we only have 16,000 students, so 10,000 is a large proportion, okay? And the rating from those instructions are quite good. 95% agree that these online sessions are satisfied. We move almost all our activities online. Virtual exhibition, virtual tours, orientation videos, online games, online contests, online talks, okay, talks via Zoom. Now we led students to take over our Instagram, and they did a good job. So these young people, they did a better job in managing social media than we do. Now I'm quite impressed with this list or this package of virtual services provided by University of Hong Kong. As you can see from this list, everything is like remote, on demand, via Zoom. So this is a suite of virtual services provided by University of Hong Kong. What about self-services? Now, when books are returned to the library, of course, we sterilize it. But then when students check out books, they want to do it themselves. So we put up machines for them to do their own sterilization. Okay. And now during this time, we also push out blog posts on research topics. And last academic year, we pushed out 35 blog posts on research topics, like research tours, research data, ranking, academic integrity to our users. So you can see that it's something that we push out to them, let them to explore this topic on their own. Now libraries also provide online education, especially health education during this time. Many of us have assumed the roles to disseminate reliable health information or to provide health literacy and to increase public health awareness. Now, according to this study is a survey study of 137 Chinese academic libraries. They find out 94% of these 137 academic libraries provided COVID information on their website. And 93% published COVID information on their WeChat, and a smaller proportion on their micro blogs. Another study, now the earlier one was on China, on academic libraries, and this one is on US and on public library. This team of researchers have done content analysis of online announcements about COVID. They analyzed about 90 public libraries and find out almost 70% of them provided links to health resources. 53% provided guidance on finding reliable information, and half of them have information about the virus. So academic libraries, public libraries, medical libraries are doing something similar, that we provide health education, health literacy online. Okay, lastly, the last area that I'd like to share with you is connection and partnership. Yes, the pandemic has isolated us from our user, from our patron, and even from our colleagues, right? And how are we going to make connection with them? Okay, now first of all, within the library. Now this is the WhatsApp communications that we have used. Now during the peak pandemic time, many of the library staff have to stay at home, while some, just a small number of staff, work in the library. So we communicate through WhatsApp. We set up this sundial WhatsApp group, okay? So we exchange messages and connect with each other. We have flexible work arrangement, flexible hours, staggering lunch, work from home arrangement. And also at this time, we encourage our staff to take on professional development on Zoom sessions or through LinkedIn for their training. And what about connection with the university administration and with our user? As I said, we apply the university's technology into our space, and we provide, we help the different offices to do their work using our facility, using our resources, and providing our own services. So like we work with schools on for them to conduct online tutorials. We open up our discussion rooms for the TA to conduct online tutorial to their students. And we work with admission office for online interviews. We work with a career center on professional development. And then we try to reach out to our users on social media. I was told that one of the college in Washington State in United States, the library has uploaded over 30 library videos on TikTok. We know that TikTok is very popular among the young people. And so this library reached out to their patrons using TikTok and other social media. Now, these are different ways that different libraries have made connection with their users, with their administrator, and also with their colleagues. Not only make connection with them, but build up partnership with them so that we together provide services to our user. Now, what about the future? We believe that some of the changes will become a new way of serving our users. We expect the trend of using e-resources will continue. We also believe that library instruction and many library activities will be conducted both online and face-to-face. The need for library as a place will continue. Now, this is one of the book chapters that my colleague and I have written some time ago. Now, to summarize it, we find that phase changing of libraries are characterized by the speed of change, by our adaptability, by our ability to meet users' demand. And it has to be done through strong leadership. Things will not just happen. We have to make it happen through strong leadership. So we need to assume new roles, not only carry on our own conventional roles. Now, phase changing of libraries help to speed up digital transformation, accelerate innovation, facilitate co-creation with our partner, as what I have mentioned early in the presentation. So some of the changes, some of the initiatives are here to stay because they save time, save effort, they're cheaper, they're easier, they attract more virtual participants. So finally, I would like to share a few scenes of our library in September 2021. As we can see that this is our dashboard analytic. During the normal time, 2018, 19, 2020, this is our daily traffic in the library when they get through the gate entry. But for the long pandemic time, so we lost a lot of the traffic, okay? But in September, the traffic came back, okay? In September, the traffic came back. We have 12,000 gate entry, okay? 12,000 gate entry, which is like 75% of our student population. Another dashboard analytic shows the unique user. This you can say, well, some people can come in and out several times, but another one showing the unique user, it's also very high. It's like 10,000 unique user, 9,000, 10,000 unique user, over 16,000 population. So it's still like 70%, you know, percent of our population. The head count at 3 p.m. is the peak time, 3 p.m. So we have about 1,500 students occupying seats in the library at 3 p.m. Okay, this is the pandemic time. This is the summertime, all right? So in the first 2 weeks, in the first week particularly, in September, this is the scenario in our library. Our university has implemented a compulsory requirement for all users or for all students and faculty to have 2 doses of vaccination or a bi-weekly COVID testing before they can come back to campus. We enforce face-to-face instruction. So this is required unless you have some medical reason and you have to stay away. Otherwise, everybody come back to the campus. So our traffic is back, our students are back. And in the first week of class, we find out there's a long line waiting to get into the library. As my colleague told me, we are dealing with 2 cohorts at the same time. The new students cohort this year and the new student cohort from last year, because last year, they don't have any chance to come into the library. The whole year to them is stay at home, right? Study at home. So, and we recorded that each hour, we have 900 to 1200 entries in 1 hour, or 6 entries per minute. So you can see someone, when he came to the entrance gate, he said to the entrance gate, "Hey, long time no see." So I think this is quite interesting. Now we also have put in a nap pod in the library, which has been laid idle for more than a year in the pandemic. But now when we open up the library, our students are back. You see this student is enjoying a nap with music on. And right. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying with me.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Diana, for such an inspiring sharing. Yeah, I think we learned that. I would say personally that it's very complete information, yeah, about how your leadership able to lead your library in such a way to really change, to really transform, yeah, the library that traditionally used to be before pandemic and now transform into something great, yeah, in facilities, for collection, yeah, and also even especially for student support. So thank you so much for sharing. We already have a couple of questions, but we will keep the questions after Melissa's session. Yeah, there's a couple of interesting questions, yeah, which you can see also in the Q&A. And for all other participants, yeah, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box, yeah, and then later on we will have enough time to ask our speakers. Okay, so now let's move to the next session. Yeah, before we go to Melissa, I would like to introduce Melissa first. So Melissa Fulkerson is the Vice President for Research Reference at Elsevier. Melissa has held various leadership roles in marketing, sales, and product at Elsevier since 2009. She is currently the Vice President of Research Reference, leading Elsevier's research books portfolio. She has extensive experience in the ebooks industry, having created and maintained partnerships with key channel partners aimed at ensuring breadth of availability library choice for content acquisition. She has been an invited speaker and contributed to published works in the area of digital technologies and accessibility, most recently contributing a chapter to a newly published book, Libraries, Digital Informations and COVID, Practical Applications and Approaches to Challenge and Change. She is passionate about the intersections of reading, research, and education, and is based in the United States. So please welcome Melissa. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. I think you have my slides on your side. I just have 2 slides.
Yep.
So we can pull those up, keeping it very simple today. Thank you so much for having me, to the Southeast Asia team at Elsevier, and to the many attendees that we have here. I am delighted to be with you virtually, of course, coming from the United States. As was mentioned in the intro, I lead our STEM books portfolio, which encompasses both print and electronic formats of our books, serving global markets, and is largely represented by the ebook portfolio on Science Direct. So that's really where my comments will be focusing today. I want to also thank Diana for her presentation. It was so fascinating to hear how the physical library is making adjustments for the future and taking new safety precautions into account, and also how you've adjusted the ways of getting content to users in both print and digital forms. It was really inspiring to see. So thank you for that. So I want to speak to you today about data and how it can play a role in driving research forward through content. All the teams at Elsevier are increasingly using data-driven methods of decision-making, as I'm sure is true for most organizations, including all the great examples Diana just gave us. To give just one example of how we are incorporating data into our decision-making at Elsevier, our content acquisitions teams rely heavily on the use of data to drive their strategies forward and to ensure that they are publishing the right content for the markets we serve. This process often begins with the research itself. They use tools such as Scopus and SciVal to figure out the direction research is going in their respective disciplines, specifically what literature is being published in journals, what's being cited, and which areas are growing, and then acquiring foundational content accordingly to support our books portfolio. Because of this, there's a nice complement between the foundational content in our books program and the cutting edge research in our journals, and we can ensure that there are no gaps in the breadth of what we're publishing. In short, we're using data to determine what the needs of the portfolio are based on where research is now and where we think it's going in the future, so we can be sure we are publishing what our customers will need. Because we are so aligned in our books and journals content strategy, one of the great outcomes of that is that they complement each other on our Science Direct platform. We find users coming into Science Direct using both books and journals to either start their research or move it forward. What we see is what we call co-usage, which we define as a usage session where a patron accesses both books and journals in the same session. Often they go back and forth between the two, and that really demonstrates the strength of not only the platform of Science Direct in supplying the right content based on a user's need, but also the strength of the content itself to continue to provide that seamless breadth of knowledge. We've developed an analysis tool that helps individual institutions understand the co-usage patterns at their library to use that data to help acquisition decisions in your collection development strategy. We've learned several interesting things as this tool and the measurement of co-usage has become more prevalent. First is that we are seeing some diverse usage across disciplines, which we're then able to send back to our content teams to ensure that they have a clear view of what disciplines in science are being used together. It's really helped to illustrate how interdisciplinary science has become and how broad any individual researcher really does need to be. So we can use that information to help inform the types of books we publish and the breadth and depth our authors might need to go into in their individual projects. The illustration on the slide here on the right-hand side is a real example of the connections between subjects across books and journals that are being used at a single institution by users in a single session. Because of how interdisciplinary science and research have become, we see users every day that may be experts in a specific field, but need to get up to speed on a topic that is new to them. The fact that books and journals are together on Science Direct and that the platform enables users to easily find the right information means they can be more effective in doing so. Perhaps the best illustration of how this all comes together in a cohesive output is the use and pervasiveness of our topics pages product, which you may have heard of. It allows us to use artificial intelligence to create comprehensive reviews on very specific topics using book content to help users get up to speed quickly and then determine how to take their research forward from there. We can analyze the usage of topics pages to determine what content is having an impact at a particular institution, which again can help librarians make decisions about how to use their acquisition budgets in the best way. Since their launch in 2017, topics pages have grown rapidly and are now the second highest driver of traffic on Science Direct, accounting for over 17% of all traffic on the platform globally. So this is book content that your users are finding and saying, yes, this information is helpful and interesting, and I would like to learn more. The other thing that we've learned is that there tends to be a correlation between the number of books an institution has access to, and not only their books usage, but their journals usage as well. So we're seeing clear evidence that access to both types of content and the co-usage that results on that single platform can drive up the return on investment for both books and journals and make the investment that you're making in content more worthwhile. So between the strength in usage of topics pages demonstrating the demand of foundational content found in books and the impact on journals usage when books are fully available, we can say confidently that without access to books, users are only getting a partial view of what's available in any given field. We're also starting to see trends beyond usage that illustrate the strength of books in research. There's evidence to suggest that articles that cite books have a higher field-weighted citation impact than articles that cite only other journal articles by 25%. So again, access to books is making journals more impactful. Researchers are publishing stronger work. These types of data points really help us illustrate the impact that books can have on research and an institution's strength in research output, which can help a library demonstrate the value of the investment they are making on content. So I've spoken a lot about how we make publishing decisions, and on the surface that might not seem entirely relevant to the role of the library, but ultimately our decision-making is all in service to our ability to provide the right content our library customers need to support your users. So the decisions we make have an impact on you and your collection strategies as well. My team on the ebook side spend a lot of time creating and maintaining data repositories and reports and analyses that help libraries manage holdings and identify opportunities to create stronger collections based on the data. And we'd be happy to look at the data at any of your specific institutions with you to see what it looks like for you relative to global averages and what you might be able to learn through the data that will make your content decisions easier. We can go to the next slide, please. So while data is increasingly important, it's the baseline of any good strategy these days. Metrics can only take you so far when evaluating investments into your library, whether they be content, tools, infrastructure, or really anything else. Many libraries are determining how they best fit within the university now. What is the role of the library and of the librarian in a post-COVID world? We've seen that question asked many times. It's why many of us are here, and it may be one that your library is trying to answer right now. While there are many ways to answer that question that are unique to individual institutions, there are a few questions you can ask yourself that might help you get closer and help define how content might be able to play a role in that. In my personal view, I think it starts with a library's mission and what they value. Cost per title, cost per download is usually where conversations with vendors end up, but it isn't always the right measure or the best measure if you're interested in student or research outcomes, or if you want to support the research community through things like reducing friction in access to content, or even in ensuring highly interdisciplinary collections. Many libraries are placing more and more emphasis on the outcomes of the work their users are doing and are working to ensure that collections are tailored to either be broad enough or specific enough, narrow enough to serve the unique needs of that patron community. There are decisions to be made about access versus ownership that play a role here as well as issues of print versus digital. And of course, we've seen an increase in the rate of transition toward digital content during the pandemic. But again, it comes back to what you value, what your mission is for the library. The research goals of the institution can matter as well, particularly for institutions that are trying to make an impact or grow in specific areas. We've seen the impacts of this through the prevalence of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in many parts of the world. Offering content that can support research output that is aligned with the SDGs can be a valuable resource that transcends just the cost per title. Educational mandates are becoming more common as well, particularly now with so much more remote work happening in the undergrad community. They used to be heavily in person. Libraries are choosing more and more to invest resources into student course materials or working with faculty and looking at their holdings to determine how they might be able to displace student purchase materials in favor of materials available through the library, open resources, as Diana mentioned, or increasing course reserves that are not available to an unlimited user base. Lastly, the quality of content is something that we can put metrics against, but quality in and of itself is a term that is hard to define, and it can have different meaning depending on the context. There's an element of trust, I think, that goes into assigning quality to a portfolio of content. Trust in the publisher or the vendor that you're working with to ensure that they are using good practices to bring quality content to market, such as peer review or any of the data-driven acquisition strategies I mentioned at the beginning of this talk. But also metrics such as field-weighted citation impact can show how impactful a portfolio is or a piece of content is in its field. Usage metrics and turnaways can illustrate what the patron community values. There's an element of trust required in the entities providing this data that is not measurable in and of itself. So qualitative measures can help paint a picture about what the library really values and what role it plays in serving its community. Budget challenges often require all parties to come back to costs at the end, and conversations tend to naturally revolve around those cost metrics. But really, it is a decision that each library has to make for itself to consider what purpose this content serves, what is the library value about the access to this content, and therefore what importance that content has to the mission of the library and to the institution itself. I think by articulating the value that the content has in the library's mission and its ability to serve its community, together we can ensure that libraries are acquiring the right content in the right way to meet their needs, not buying what they don't need by getting access to what they do, and using the best data sources to demonstrate that value and make the most of the investments that libraries are making into content. I will stop there. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Melissa, for fantastic explanations as well, and thank you for sharing with us. So now we will move to the question and answer session. And to all participants, after this Q&A session, we will have a networking session. Please don't go yet, because I'll explain about the networking session right after the Q&A. Okay, so looking at the questions, I think we do have two main theme right here, based on the Q&A. First, I think it's more about managing the transformations itself, and second, it's more about handling open access source, or open access database. So let's go with the first questions. I try to sum up a couple of questions over here. So I think we can go first with Ms. Diana. How do you manage your innovations capability in your library? How to ensure that human resources and other assets, they can work together to achieve the library's aim?
How to manage our staff resources and
how to manage your staff, your resources. This is not a simple question.
Well, we have to set priority, because during the pandemic time, not everybody come back to work in the library. So we have to make a schedule so that it's on a fair basis. Somebody can work at home and somebody have to come back to the office to work to keep the library open. But the thing is, on the one hand, we need to pay attention to our staff's mentality, because you know that this is a critical time. And with the pandemic, many staff or some people are very afraid and very, very worried. So we do allow, those people who without a counter duty to stay at home. But of course, now everything is back to normal. I mean, in Hong Kong, in my university. So all the staff have returned back to work, although we all have to wear masks at the same time. So in terms of how to prioritize our resources, we have to be very purposeful to see what is important, what can be done, what should be done at that time, and what could be spared at a later time. I always told my staff that things that we do not need to do right now, we can postpone it later, because the whole world seems to have slowed down during the pandemic. So for things which are of lower priority, we wait for another day.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Diana, for sharing. Another questions for you is it's about open access ebooks. So I think this is a very great question. We know that open access ebooks can be provided by the library, but how do we make sure that the OA ebooks platform is legal? It's not illegal. How can we ensure that that is something that the library could provide to users, but still upholds the legal side of the platforms itself?
Well, I think it's not easy because these days our users they're able to find out many information on their own. But I guess for the libraries, everything we do is in compliance with the law. So whatever ebooks we provide, they have they are legal. They are on legal platform. They are provided to us. Either we have to pay for them, or they're open access, or that we know those are trustworthy. But otherwise, the other illegal platform, I guess we would not recommend to our users.
Okay, so it's more about educating the users, creating the awareness to make sure that they all access to legal database or legal platforms. Thank you for that, Ms. Diana. I think we have one more questions, and this one goes to Melissa. So the assumptions out there, is that because of pandemic, then ebooks usage, lending of ebooks or ebook usage will be down. Is that really the fact that we are facing right now?
I have found it to be the opposite, actually, that ebook usage has significantly increased in 2020. I think part of it is because of the accelerated shift toward digital materials from print materials. Users either didn't have access to the print materials that were in the library, so they found digital replacements for them somehow through other means, or libraries chose actively to start acquiring content. Diana mentioned that they switched to e-preferred for ebooks in STEM. Many libraries globally did that, and as a result, we saw usage pretty significantly increase. And that's maintained this year, even with many global campuses coming back in person.
And we see this trend globally happens.
Yes, globally. Yes, everywhere.
Yeah, it means that librarians everywhere, including in Southeast Asia, has also done a fantastic job in transition.
Very consistent. Yes.
Yes. Transitioning from print to digital, and I have so many access to ebooks. So thank you. So Ms. Diana and also Melissa, thank you so much for our Q&A, for our short discussions, but I really believe that all of our attendees learned a lot from both of you. Okay, so we are going to move to our next session, and this is going to be something very interesting for all of you, because so many of our attendees in previous webinar sessions want to have more open networking and discussion with other participants as well. So we hear you, and we will provide this to you. We are going to go into group networking and discussion session. So what will happen is, so we will go, right now we are using Zoom webinar, okay? But we will go to Zoom meeting. So right after this, we will go to Zoom meeting, to have open networking. And the meeting link will be provided, in the chat box. So my colleague will provide you with the Zoom meeting, and then you can click that Zoom link, and move to the Zoom meeting, and we will meet there again. So imagine if this is a physical platform, we move to the different room, and to do that, just click on the link, and then after you go to the next room, you will be able to rejoin again, and we will do this networking. What will happen there is we will have open discussions in group. So we will put you in a random group, and then there will be a sharing with all participants about transforming your library. So you can share your experiences, you can share your insight, you can get to know each other. And then after that, we will be back into the main Zoom meeting room, and then we will discuss with each other. So hopefully that's clear. So again, there will be the link. I think the link already provided in the chat. Okay, so you can go click that link, and we will move to a Zoom meeting. Over there, we will have open discussions in group, in smaller groups, and then we will go back to the main Zoom meeting room and discuss with each other. Okay, so feel free, you can do it now. So you can click, and then once you are already in the Zoom meeting, you can leave this webinar, and we will meet again there. Okay, things quite a lot of participants already moving now. So for you right now, you can also do the same. Just click the link, move to the Zoom meeting, and then we'll meet you there.
Just to kind of let everybody know, you will be in a waiting room. It'll say that a host needs to end the other meeting. So please wait in the waiting room. We will be beginning that meeting very soon.
Okay, thank you, Sanam. Okay, more attendees, already start to leave this room. Thank you so much. If this is a physical meeting, I think it's very easy, right? We just move to the next room. But for this one, we have to move to Zoom meeting. Okay, so once again, please go to the next Zoom meeting room. You can just click on the in chat. There is a link already provided to you. So please do click that one, and we will move to another Zoom meeting to continue with our discussion. Okay, I'll post the link again. Okay, so that's the link. So if you click that one, then you will be moved to the next Zoom meeting. Okay, from those in Indonesia, I can explain this easier maybe using local language. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang dari Indonesia bisa langsung menuju ke ruangan berikutnya, ke Zoom meeting berikutnya. Jadi Bapak Ibu perlu meninggalkan Zoom webinar ini dan melanjutkan ke Zoom meeting. Nah, untuk Zoom meetingnya, linknya sudah tersedia di bagian chatting. Jadi silakan Bapak Ibu klik saja link tersebut. Nah, kemudian nanti Bapak Ibu bisa langsung mengikuti sesi diskusi yang akan kita lakukan bersama-sama. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Maybe Walika, can you also explain in local language?
Okay, อาจารย์คะตอนนี้เรากำลังจะแบ่งกลุ่มนะคะอาจารย์ก็เดี๋ยวจะมีตอนนี้เขามีลิงก์อยู่ให้ที่แชทบ็อกซ์ตรงขวามือนะคะหรือว่ากดตรงข้างล่างก็ได้นะคะเมื่อเข้าไปที่ห้องนั้นแล้วก็จะเป็นอีกกลุ่มหนึ่งซึ่งเรากำลังรอทุกคนที่จะเข้าไปแล้วเราก็จะทำการแบ่งห้องอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะคะถ้าหากว่าอาจารย์ไม่รู้จะพูดอะไรไม่รู้จะแชร์อะไรก็สามารถที่จะเข้าไปรับฟังได้ค่ะไปฟังว่าที่ประเทศมาเลเซียเขาทำยังไงที่อินโดหรือฟิลิปปินส์เขาทำอะไรกันบ้างนะคะก็เดี๋ยวไปเจอกันที่อีกแชทหนึ่งนะคะ
Okay, I'll post the link again, and then I will leave, and I will see you again, in our next meeting room. Thank you.